Alright guys, such a comic again. I hope you're doing well and enjoying your day so far. The OpTic boys with a few words for Drazah, with OpTic dominating this season so far, looking like the #1 team in the game right now and certainly #1 in the CDL standings just a few months after winning the World Championship. Plenty of thoughts on the former CEO of OpTic, staying with FaZe's Drazah, but it wasn't long ago the CEO of OpTic was all over his bragging on social media. That is now no longer the case, and Scump and Fubble reveal a pretty interesting behind the scenes aspect of what Drazah was doing in his prime not that long ago, when he was beating OpTic every week. Now that is clearly not the case at all. Very much enjoyed your thoughts in the comments. Hit the like button if you enjoy. Subscribe if you're new as always. I'd greatly appreciate it. Plenty to get into. I wanted to start here again really. Scump was giving his thoughts the other day on the camos. The OpTic one, I mean, as far as we know from the leaks and stuff, appears to be just grey and black and with a little bit of green on it. There are some, I mean, like, this is the other OpTic skin, we think. And, you know, maybe this one's okay, right? Like, it's got some black and green and white and whatever. Like, that's probably all right. But this one is, I mean, I don't really know what exactly is going on here. It just appears to be white with the OpTic Texas logo. I don't know. Maybe it's going to be better when we actually see it in the game for real. But it looks like it's in the game for real to me. So Scump says, damn, that's our one? Like, there's no green? It's just white? Like, where's the green at? What's going on here? So just a bit confused as to why this is where we are with skins, right? Because Scump also went on to say, you know, these skins, these camos, they should be insane, right? They should be animated. They should be the best stuff. And it's a weird time because we understand that the teams are now able to get 100% of the revenue share. Well, not of the revenue share, but effectively the way that it used to work is if I buy this skin, half of the money goes to Activision, half of the money goes into an overall pot, of which 75% of that goes to the team of which skin it was, and the other 25% of that goes to an overall global pot, which is shared between the teams. So, but this year, that global pot disappears, so it's simply half to Activision, and then half to the team that sold the skin, effectively. So perfect for the teams, right? The teams that can sell more, they have the bigger brands, they design the best stuff, you would think. They can, you know, sell it and they can make more money as a result. Now, we know that in, let's say, the Cold War season, there were so many restrictions on how they could design the camos. They were very boring, and basically everything was the same, but just with a different color combination for the team, which was atrocious. Now, over the last few years, we have been able to move away from that. They can actually put their logo, their skins in the game, right, which is nice. But we believed the teams had near enough free reign to design what they wanted to design. But you look at some of these skins and you wonder, like, is that really the case? Because surely you would think if the teams themselves were able to design entirely what they wanted, they would come up with some better and some more interesting stuff, certainly when it comes to team camos. And that's what Scump is saying, like, why can't we get the coolest stuff, right? Why does it have to be that the CDL skins, the CDL camos are always just really boring? And, you know, I've seen COD Mobile camos, which are just insane. Some guy's got a weapon, and on the top of his gun, he's got some, like, toy soldiers having a battle on it, right? Like, some planes fired around. It's out of control what they're doing over there. But in the actual mainstream Call of Duty title, like, this is what we get. And Scump says, come on, we've got to get some reactive camos. Surges should be spitting lightning out of the side of it. Falcon should have something soaring on there. Like, imagine that. Great idea. Great concept. But apparently, that just never happens. So now this is pretty interesting because FaZe put together some alternate camos, and obviously people are talking about AI generated and all this. But look, are these camos spectacular in terms of their design? I mean, they're pretty much the same design, but with the different colors, obviously. But, like, would these sell more than what they've actually come up with? Like, absolutely, right? I mean, it's kind of similar to what we had back in Black Ops 3, where they sold pretty well when everything was pretty similar, but it did at least have the logo slapped on the side. I know you've got the stickers and all this stuff, but yeah, I don't really understand what this obsession is with making the camos incredibly boring and simplistic. And again, people are going to have their thoughts on what they like and what they don't like, but certainly they can do a better job, I think, than they currently are. I'll just quickly mention this that Jake Hale pointed out yesterday on socials. Insomnia 62 was Birmingham 2018, was the CWL Birmingham event. But Insomnia as a gaming festival has been around a very long time in the UK. And, well, back in 2010, there was Insomnia 39 that held a COD 4 LAN, as you might expect. they're doing another one. So the next Insomnia coming up, I think it says Insomnia 74, sorry, in their bio over on the right-hand side anyway. But they've got this COD 4 tournament coming up. So, I don't know, if you guys are from the UK, you want to play a 5v5 COD 4 tournament in the middle of next year, then have a look at that. I thought that was a cool development. The other big drama, actually, was whether Jimbo is back. And, well, this has been a bit of a talking point because there was this Console Kings tournament, and obviously on console, I guess. And as Parasite says, get rid of these NA EU mixed coast tournaments. Please always separate them. Also, every single EU ranked console kid I ran into on BO6 was zimming or using AI. So anyway, apparently there's some problems there. And Parasite wasn't very happy with the way that these tournaments went. There was a bit of drama between all the various parties. What was very interesting, however, is potentially the return of Jimbo. So, if you guys aren't familiar, Jimbo was briefly in the Pro League, and it was then found out, well, he went back down to Challenges. Then it seems that he may have downloaded some wall hacks over time, and he was playing with Classic. I think aBeZy told this story of Classic would come back from playing scrims with Jimbo, and was because he was the FaZe substitute at the time, and was telling aBeZy, like, damn, this Jimbo guy is crazy. Like, he's so good. I can't believe that, like, this guy isn't a pro. I can't believe this guy isn't on this level again. Like, what's going on, right? This guy's carrying me every scrim. Turned out there was something nefarious happening. Now, he tried to return, right? So he got banned, famously at the Challengers World Championship in Modern Warfare 2. His account got banned during that tournament. I don't think he was cheating at the LAN, but we believe anyway that his account was flagged for cheating in the online matches leading up to qualifying for the World Championship, and therefore his account was banned. He said that he wasn't cheating, but it appears that he probably was. So he was banished from the scene, obviously. He's tried to come back a couple of times. He changed his name to Lau, I think. He tried to make a return. Then he tried to play a cup, I think last year sometime, and Spinner Spence was like, mate, sorry Jimbo, but you are banned for life, unfortunately. So that is what it is. But he's not done yet, baby. Jimbo is not done yet. He's changed his name again, and here we go. We've got Big B from Canada back at it again with his boys. So as we can see here, he's playing with Archives, he's playing with ReeaL, and yeah, apparently this is Jimbo. Might not be Jimbo. It could be another guy called Big B, but it could also be Jimbo. So Cruz thinks it's Jimbo. I don't know what you guys think about it. Jimbo, French-Canadian, right? So, you know, there's probably something in that, but who knows? I just thought it was pretty funny to see a Jimbo attempted return for the millionth time. Also, like, if you're playing with Jimbo, like, come on. I'm not saying he's cheating now, because he might not be, but, like, an accused and convicted cheater, if you're going to play with him, I think it reflects on you to a certain degree as well, especially because you know that you're going to, like, someone's going to find out, are they not? At some point, they're going to find out. Let's talk about this Drazah stuff. Scump talked about it last weekend. OpTic got a good start to the season. It wasn't long ago, Drazah was popping off, right? His record against OpTic is still very good over the last couple of years, of course. But when it really mattered, it fell short. We know that famously he made the decision to go to FaZe instead of OpTic when Kenny eventually joined OpTic going into Modern Warfare 3. And look, I understand the decision. I think in hindsight, it's worked out pretty well for the scene, because I think that Drazah fit the FaZe culture and narrative and all of that far better. And Drazah was a great player. Modern Warfare 3, for a substantial part of Black Ops 6, I think Drazah was really good. Let's not forget, he's a world champion from 2022 in the Vanguard year with Thieves. Massive grinder, Drazah for sure. But the end of the Black Ops 6 season for him was not especially good. He had a very difficult end to the season, and the start of this season has been equally bad, I would say, in many respects. So it's been a big debate now, because with Drazah as CEO, he used to call himself the CEO of OpTic because he would beat them and knock them out of tournaments. And then, of course, as it turned out, OpTic won champs at the end of Modern Warfare 3 and then won champs again the next year. So under Drazah's tenure as CEO, despite his record against OpTic being very strong individually, the record in terms of tournaments won certainly belongs with OpTic. So, you know, many OpTic fans are pretty thankful. Oh, thanks, Drazah. Like, under your CEO-ship, under your leadership, we've been winning near everything at the end of the season. But now it seems like that's gone. Drazah has stopped the CEO of OpTic, let's say, persona. Formal says, you know, the little reign of terror he had going on. Scump was talking about how he used to turn up to scrims against OpTic with CEO in the tag.
Not a good map out of the CEO right there.
No, I've seen better.
Definitely not a good map out of the OpTic CEO, right?
Whoa. Don't throw OpTic in front of
That's what they call him.
I'm so happy they stopped that.
Yeah, I don't know
That
what
whole
that
reign
was
of
about.
terror he had on them for a while.
Yeah.
God, that seems so good.
That was a little cringe to me.
It was to me too.
I
But
get
I know
the-
for
I
them
get
it
the
was
whole
probably
thing.
so tilting.
Dude.
Oh my god.
He scrims them as CleanX
Saying
CEO.
shit before the series
You're
and
like,
shit.
dude,
Yeah, dude. Oh my god.
like, get a fucking grip.
Holy
That would
fuck.
tilt me if he joined
Yeah.
the lobby and his shit was CEO.
Yeah.
He's in game chat saying, I run this org.
Yeah.
So it all started with this tweet on the 27th of March 2024. Brian Stats put this out. Drazah's been on a generational run against OpTic the last couple of seasons. Of course, this was even in Modern Warfare 3, but it was true that over the last few years, 12-2 LAN records, 42-18 map counts. You know, he had a great record when he was on Thieves as well against OpTic before then too. He's also eliminated OpTic from 9 tournaments, tied for the second most ever. Eggs, of course, holds the records. There should be no surprises there. So Drazah quote tweeted this and said CEO. So that's kind of where it all began, the CEO of OpTic. And if we look through what he's tweeted about this over the last couple of years, you know, in April, they then beat OpTic again and he says, too icy, hashtag CEO. And in August, he said a similar thing. That's how you bounce back, hashtag CEO. GG's OpTic 130. Y'all didn't think anything different, right? Hashtag CEO, right? So that was at the start of the Black Ops 6 season when he was cooking OpTic again. OpTic were in that really rough period. And he said it a couple of times too. April 26th, however, the last time that he tweeted it, right? So they beat OpTic towards the end of April. I think that was when they made one of their changes, like just around that period where OpTic were trying to do something to arrest their decline. And then it wasn't that long after that, of course, when Mercules came in. And there's been no such CEO tweets since then. So things have changed. Drazah definitely used to have CEO of OpTic in his bio. I'm almost certain that he did, but that has now been gone, I think, for some time. So yeah, the CEO of OpTic is officially no more. And look, can he level up this season? Because the reality is Drazah's focus right now is less on being CEO of OpTic and more on actually starting to perform again, right? Like he's played a couple of series so far and he's got a 0.77 overall, 0.6 in hardpoint, 0.6 in search and destroy. So it's not been great. Again, as I say, it's only a couple of series, but he had a 0.79 against Thieves and a 0.75 against Gentlemates, even though they won. Now, obviously, there's some caveats here because they played 2 hardpoints where they got smoked. Certainly the game 4, Drazah went 10 and 26 or a 0.38. So, okay, they won the searches and Drazah was okay in those modes. Okay, even the game 2 wasn't great. The overload also wasn't exactly ideal. So it's very interesting, right? Because with FaZe, Simp and Drazah, they stayed as the duo. And Drazah, as I say, he's been very strong for some time. If I look at some of his event stats here, I guess these are the more recent ones, but if I look at some of his player cards, let's say, over the last couple of seasons, you know, 2024, he was a 99 overall rated player card, right? So Drazah, and yeah, his numbers aren't insane from a KD perspective, but that was absolutely fine given his team. There was a long period here on the FaZe days, on the Thieves days. I mean, you can see some of these 97 cards, 85 cards, 90 cards, 89. There's another one over here, a couple of 90s from his days. I mean, this is his overall season card in 2023. Drazah was a 90 overall. His overall season card last year, 89 overall. Okay, 2024. His 2025 season cards, 84 overall. So, you know, still respectable, still okay, but at Champs last year, Drazah was a 69 overall card when he started out the season, you know, very much higher. So, you know, it's pretty clear that after quite a few years of Drazah being a really solid player, that has now changed to an extent. And not to say that he can't get out of it, because I still rate Drazah particularly highly. Kenny also speaks very highly of Drazah as well, and I think for understandable reasons. But there's no doubt that he's got to lock in because, you know, this team needs Abuzah and Drazah, at least one of them, to be a big slayer. And it's probably that's not going to be Drazah, but at least they need him to hold his own. And right now that is certainly not the case. So yeah, the CEO has other things to focus on for the time being, but very much into your thoughts on all of this stuff in the comment section below. Hit the like button if you enjoyed, subscribe if you're new, take care, and I'll see you next time.